Hi everyone, it's Amy from the Warrior Programs. This is a video for all my existing warriors and for anybody who isn't yet a warrior, is considering becoming one, or just is looking for some help with food and what to eat. So this video is going to be entitled Why Willpower Isn't Enough, because I'm sure for a lot of you it's going to resonate the fact that you've been trying to make change in your diet to make change ultimately in your body, and just trying to make yourself do that isn't always enough. Things kind of creep in, you find yourself eating things when you're feeling sad that you weren't planning to eat, and you find yourself kind of not sticking to your resolutions. And you're probably watching this because you've reached a point and you're like, oh, I'm really sick of this, I want to find out how to change it. So today I'm going to talk about willpower and how literally willpower is not enough. So for me, kind of my journey, well, I went to uni. It's not in a particularly good place. I lived in a really shitty house full of mould and didn't have much money to spend on food, so I just basically ate crap, sat on my arse all day, didn't do any exercise, was feeling really low, I had loads of work to do, and I basically put on 3 stone in a couple of months, well about a year really, and I'm quite small, you can't tell from this, but that's a lot for someone of my height and build and size. And I didn't notice until I did, and all of a sudden I noticed and I was like, shit, I need to fix this, this is no good. And so I used willpower and knowledge at that time to make myself lose the weight through diet change and exercise. But today we're talking about diet. And I cut out loads of shit, like cut out convenience food like pizza and chips and that kind of thing was what I used to eat. Up my fruit and veg enormously, kind of without meaning to do so because I didn't have this knowledge at the time. I upped my protein quite substantially, and between that and the exercise I lost the weight within 6 months. And for the first couple of years after that I yo-yoed a little bit, so I put on about a stone of it again a couple of years later through some kind of personal circumstances, and overall I've stayed fairly consistent. Right now I'm the leanest I've probably ever been, which is amazing, but that willpower alone was not enough to keep that weight off for good. Like I said, I put some back on. When my sort of happiness levels dipped down, it came back on, and I'm sure you can probably resonate with that when you kind of feel stressed or upset or pissed off. Like, food is such a coping mechanism in our society. So enough of what kind of won't do it. Willpower will not do it. What will do it? So for me, the biggest thing that's helped me keep the weight off long term, so I don't ever foresee myself, bar any real kind of health problems cropping up, touch wood they don't, I don't ever see myself being overweight for a couple of reasons. So the first thing is deciding that I am going to see my body in a more positive light than I used to. So your body is not just this irritation that you are burdened with. Your body is your means for which you can be part of this life, whatever you believe in terms of lives afterwards. You're here in this life now, and if you do not look after this, not from a self-punishing perspective, but from a, okay, I get one of these and I want to have a good life and I don't want to battle with this food shit anymore, you have to choose to learn to love this. The decision is the first bit. The process of actually getting to that point is a lifelong process. Like, that's never going to end. You're never going to reach the point where you're like, yeah, done, sorted, don't do this anymore. But same with exercise and same with diet. You know, you can't decide that I'm just going to eat good up until this point and then I'm going to stop, and it's all going to be fine, it's there, it's not going to happen. So you need to make a conscious, active decision to love this. So first step, decide. And then after that, you've got to really put into practice that decision. So what does that mean for me? So I just kind of tell myself this sort of like weird little thought pattern that healthy food was too expensive, particularly like I'm a massive fan of raspberries, and I used to tell myself that they're too expensive, can't afford them, which is actually complete bollocks. So getting out of thought patterns like that, if you find yourself going through thought patterns like healthy food is too expensive, I don't have time, I'm too busy, you need to cut that. Like, change that. To never say I'm too this, change that and say healthy eating or putting my body first, putting me first is not a priority. And when you think of it like that, then that's, you know, you can see that's quite a negative thought process. You are always a priority. So kind of stop thinking that you are the last decision. You're not. You have to be the first. You have to be the first. So once you start to really value your body, you need to start valuing what you put into it, because like it or not, everything you put in reflects on the outside and how you feel. So I'm not talking from like a food Nazi perspective there, I'm saying like don't eat pizza or cake ever again because you're going to be fat. Like, no, not at all. I eat pizza and cake and all that, but my resolution with food is not to eat shit. And shit for me doesn't mean pizza and cake. Shit for me means stuff that's like convenience out of a packet, it's been made by a machine. It's full of chemicals, it's got no human investment into it, there's no nutritional value in it. I'm just not going to put it in me, as simple as that. I'm not going to risk what that shit, those chemicals are going to do to my cells, which is going to affect the outside. I'm just not going to do it, simple. And I like to think about food from a vibration level. So I think we can all scientifically accept that everything in this world is energy, everything in this world is a moving particle, so it's got some level of frequency, and different things have different levels of frequency, different people have different levels of frequency. So my kind of big aim in life is to lift my vibration, my frequency up as high as I possibly can, and to do so my diet and my lifestyle has got to match that. So if I'm eating shit all the time, I am lowering my vibration, which I do not want to do, because that is the most valuable thing that I have. My vibration dips, my productivity, my happiness, my engagement with people also dips. The quality that I give you face to face becomes crap. My vibration lifts, and I can give more, I can be more, I'm happier, I can do more, my body is better. So if the food that's coming in needs to match or better the vibration I am at or I'm trying to achieve, I'm not going to put anything into myself which is going to lower it. So things that I consider to be of high vibration would be fresh things, fruits and vegetables. If you can go organic, brilliant. I try sometimes, I don't always, not, you know, this is not some kind of like diet of perfection, but it's learning to kind of feel into the food. If this food is a good thing, so for me, like, take pizza as an example, I will go to Flower and Ash on Gloucester Road and eat pizza because that's made by a human, it's made with good quality ingredients, it's not thrown together in a factory by a machine. Will I go and buy a Goodfellows pizza from Tesco and eat that by myself at home? No, I will not. I will not, because what is that? There's no particular like joy in that, there's no human investment in that, there's very limited nutritional value in that. So for me, that's how I think about food. If the food matches me, if the food makes me better than I am already, then amazing. Whether that means on nutritional value, that means on a kind of human interaction value, that means on a how I feel value. But if the food is going to bring negative nutrition into me, if the food is going to make me feel guilty, feel shit later, I'm just not going to do it, because I value my energy level so much. And this is a comparatively new thing to me, but it makes such a difference. I cannot stress that enough. So a couple of things. Decide that you matter. Decide that what you put into you matters, because you can keep telling yourself that it doesn't, but trust me, it does. Second thing, start to feel into the food that you consume. So we all have an emotional relationship with food. It would be ridiculous to say that we would be able to get rid of that. I think it's just physically and culturally impossible. But start to value your relationship with food, and then it's a two-way process. You're getting something out of that transaction rather than just eating something, feel shit later because you know it was not a thing you wanted to do. Not from a perspective of being skinnier, but just from a perspective of caring for this, because as soon as you start to care for this and value this and start to make decisions on those two levels, then there is no issue with weight gain anymore. There isn't one. It just disappears. So if you're a warrior of mine and I'm giving you advice on the nutrition front, then that is valuable. I'm trying to bring you to a point of higher vibration and a point of that you're getting the nutrition that you need, but at the same time for you to start to think about your body and value it in that sense, in that it becomes so much more than the nutrition advice I'm giving you, and it also makes it so much easier for you to take that on board and make the changes. So that's a kind of a big kind of current part of my journey, so I'm going to keep making these videos updating you on my journey, because I feel like that's the biggest thing I have to offer you. And over the week I'm going to be uploading a couple of recipes that I've been kind of trialling. They're not mine. I don't tend to make recipes, I tend to just look at other people's, because there are people out there making amazing recipes, so I'm just going to kind of learn from them. A couple of things I've been making today, which will help kind of deal with sweet cravings, but on that higher vibrational level, and make it really easy for you. Cool. Well, I hope that's been useful. Please comment below if you've got any questions. I'm really happy to kind of enter into a discussion with this with you, but otherwise have a really great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.